Good afternoon, shopkeepers and do-it-yourselfers out there. Today we're taking care of a coolant leak on a 2006 Buick LaCrosse. It's got a coolant leak, typical coolant leak right here on the elbow. See it dripping there right out of that plastic pipe. That's for the tensioner housing assembly. You see the water pump heater hose, or the heater hose outlets that come out right there. That's a manifold there. Let me kind of, dang it. That's a manifold assembly right there. Your heater pipes go out. Let's see. There's the outlet that goes into the heater core. And there's the return going back into the manifold. So we're going to take it off, take that assembly off, and replace that elbow and that elbow right there. We won't go ahead and replace those because they're not leaking, and you don't have to take all this stuff apart to replace those should those start to leak. So we'll get after it. 15mm wrench on the tensioner assembly. Push down on it clockwise, or counterclockwise rather. The belt comes loose. Roll the belt off. Now we want to take the belt completely off and get it out of the way so we don't get it covered up in antifreeze. Then we have to wash it off because it'll make it squeal and carry on. $15. Unhook the alternator and all that. We're just going to dismount it. $10mm. Sparks.
Hey, Jimmy, it's over Philip Pike.
Hey, Jimmy.
Just got that little video to send
Yeah?
you. You got it fixed already?
No, I just started on it.
Oh, that's fine. Okay. Let me know. I might have to drop another one off, but I got a Ford Fusion that. Are them electric power steering? Do you know?
I don't know right offhand.
Okay. They might. They're going to take it to the office. It wasn't working at the time. The guy told me he's got one final trade for it, so I'll have him to call me when he gets back to my office. But yeah, just let me know when you get it done. I'll get her paid, buddy.
Okay, it'll be this afternoon.
Okay. Well, if you know my number, just give me a shout and I'll get you paid.
Okay, Jimmy.
All right, they might be dropping another one off to you.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Bye. Yeah. Take that 10mm bolt loose there. Goes in right down here. Take that bracket off. The nut there on the top. And then the, I don't know, the stud bolt. Then 3 bolts. The long one goes in the back, and the short one goes up here in the front through that way. And that sets your alternator over here out of the way. Battery cable's not going to short out. So then we're ready to take this off. The housing, I think there's 3 of them 15mm bolts that we have to take out. And then we can set it aside. And when we pull that aside, that connector there and this one there will pull out. Those 3 15mm head bolts are all 3 the same length. And one of them goes right back in. Let's see, there we go, right above the power steering pump. There you go. One there and then one there. Now that housing is loose, and we can take and get a pry and knock it loose and work those connectors out of there. Now I was gentle as a dove prying that thing over. You can see this one, the one on the bottom, it's broken. It's broken right at the point where the seal, the O-ring goes over it, as well as this one. It's broke the same way. And that's the one that was leaking. So we've got it off. Get it up here out of the way. Then we can get, you can see the piece that's broke off in the timing chain cover. And you can see the piece that's up inside the intake manifold. We got to get them out. Yeah, get a screwdriver in there, come in behind it, and it come out pretty easy, but you can see it's just breaking all in pieces. So you got to make sure you get all that fished out of there. Then there's a kind of a calcium ridge there. You want to clean that out, so you make sure you get a good seal with your new O-ring, with your new part, and get this piece out of the manifold. And then we got to get both pieces out of this housing. This wire brush I got here is what I'm going to clean it out with. Just kind of push on it and go around the circle. Get it all kind of polished off. And we're not wanting to remove aluminum material, just now let's see, get the light in the right spot. Yeah, just kind of shine it up. There we go. Now get those two pieces out. Now that piece there broke off pretty good up inside there, so we got to pick that out of there. Now we got it all out of there and got it shined up. Both sides, you see it down there. Now we're ready to put the new pieces in there. They've got some pot metal aluminum ones you can get. And what do you know, I got both of them, both pieces that is, and I have them in the pot metal. I guess maybe it's an alloy aluminum. I don't know, but anyway, this is what we're going to put in there, and just shoot a little bit of silicone or whatever around those seals to make them slide in easy, and start getting put back together. Okay, the short one is 7/8, and that's probably like an inch and maybe just 1 inch. It goes down there in the bottom. And this one up here at the top, it doesn't matter which way it goes in, because they're both 7/8 OD, and it's 2.5 inches from here to there as it is from here to there. So it doesn't matter which way it goes in. Then work your housing down in there and get the bottom one just guided into the hole, and then you may have to push in, sliding it toward the rear of the car or pulling it out toward the radiator to get the inlet to go into the hole up here. And once you get it in place, then gently push the pipe into the hole, get the O-ring engaged, and there it is. And then start putting your bolts in, and of course get them all three started before you start cranking them down, and make sure you're going in square so you don't put any excess pressure on those fittings. Now they're both seated good. All three bolts are in and tight. Torque specs on those are German. Good and tight, but not excessively. I mean, you're not bolting the head down. When you're cleaning these out of this housing, the broken pieces out of this housing, if you get a bunch of crap down in there, you could blow into this hole with shop air, and that'll go through and it'll push coolant and flush out that tube, because that's actually a tube way there, or a passway. Goes from there straight to there, and then from this one it goes up through there out to that one. And that's what I did, but I didn't get much down in there anyway. So we'll put the alternator back on and work on getting the belt back installed. Now there's the bolt, that 10 millimeter head bolt that goes in the back of that support bracket for the alternator. So it's in and tight. All three bolts are tight. I think I misspoke earlier. I think I said that the shorter bolt goes here. The medium length bolt goes there. The short bolt goes back here. Yeah, I misspoke. But anyway, it's on there and tight. Now all we got to do is put the belt back on. I got the belt back on, and I went ahead and did the right thing and sprayed some cleaner down in there to clean up that mess, and sprayed some cleaner on the crank pulley, and had a little bit on the powerful steering pump pulley. So we cleaned that off. Now just get the cooling system back full. And don't forget to check your overflow tank. Make sure it's full. And if it's not, you know, you want to check and make sure that your radiator cap is venting and also allowing for a suction to draw back when it cools down. That's a two-way valve that radiator cap is, if you didn't know that. When it gets hot, it builds pressure and releases the expanded coolant into the overflow tank, and then as it cools, it opens a valve and it allows it to draw back into the radiator. So it's kind of a sealed system, but it ain't. If you don't have a radiator cap on your radiator and you have a radiator style cap on your overflow tank, it's not necessarily an overflow tank. It is a surge tank. It is then a sealed system, and the coolant level in a surge tank would be generally less or lower than it is for your overflow tanks, because it actually allows for expansion. Anyway, we'll get this topped off and started up and check and make sure everything's good to go. Yeah, the cooling system's full. There's no leak. Dry as a bone. And just put this little cover back on the top. I'll take the oil fill spout off there. Get that out of the way. And this goes into that right down there. If you don't understand what that's supposed to be for and that's supposed to be for, that's called the male and that's the female. That's right. Even cars know. Even cars know. Well, there we go. Fellas and gals, that's how you do it. Those are called heater hose manifold elbows, and that's a very common repair. I've probably done about 100 of those, maybe 200 or 143, somewhere around in there. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Share, like, and subscribe. Comment if you will.